Want to talk a little bit about how this works for the team. Part of what I've spoken to already really speaks to how we manage this on an individual basis. And we did, in all the deployments I've done, started on an individual basis. So we did a kickoff, we introduced the concept, we allowed people to build them, we brought in the supplies to take them back to their office. We've even engaged our staff in walking around from work area to see the various customizations or takeoffs on boards that people have constructed in a way that actually engages them, because they see how someone else is doing it. And we would actually have employees walk through how their board has helped them or how they understand the visualization of work. And in some cases, this is, very tenured employees who would typically rely on lists or a notebook or memory to track their tasks and their output. So moving them from those very embedded practices into a visual Kanban board where they feel like they're exposed and they feel like other people can see their work was a bit of a stretch, and we had to build trust and engagement to make that happen. So obviously respect for the worker, respect for the employee, and bringing them into the fold. So that actually allowed us to build capacity to do this for teams. So what we wanted to be able to do was create a context for some groups that function more as teams to use the same concepts and the same methodologies to bring these pieces together. Interestingly enough, it would also create visual commitments around milestones and tasks and timelines for groups, because sometimes it was a little more difficult to track individual responsibilities in a group context. And I have an example coming up. I wanted to show that. Also identifying bottlenecks and hidden work. So in large teams, and I'm going to give an example, which is of actually our facility team, where we allowed them to build out a very large Kanban board and moved from an electronic system to something that's a bit more tactile with stickies, and our productivity went through the roof. The visualization component, the identification of bottlenecks, and the clarity of who's doing what made the world of difference in this process. So all the reasons why those elements of lean programs work well. And then, of course, obviously allows us to track and measure project success and completion rates. So show you that one. So on this one here, so what we took was an electronic record ticket system for our facilities department for a university, which had literally hundreds and hundreds and thousands of these request tickets. And they could be anything from someone needed furniture moved to a major repair to urgent things. So what we started doing was pulling those out of that electronic system, because we didn't feel it was giving us the visual, the connectedness, the ability to bring the team together around the flow and the continuous improvement. It gave us great metrics because it was tracking done. Often things would get done and they wouldn't get corrected in the system or tagged in the system. So then you would create a delay and it would create erroneous data coming out the other end in terms of our productivity and our data metrics. So we opted to go analog and built this enormous tracking system. So we would pull tickets out of the electronic system. I know there's a duplication of work there, but the value in doing this was very instrumental in building team capacity and lean thinking, which then started to spread out into other areas of our facility operations. So as you can see, the one picture, we would track all of our tasks and we would move them through by employee, by week. And then what we would do is we were able to see ebbs and flows in different team members and create better service responses, because we'd be able to move tasks around and be able to manage bottlenecks. And when assistance was required, and this is a 2-person job versus a 1-person job, and we would move those items through and create flow. And our ability to complete tickets faster and with better service was substantially improved. And it was because of this visual tool that allowed us to bring that piece together. An evolution of that was a kudos board and a daily huddle, and then a tracking of more systematized work orders that would often get lost or would just pop up at the last minute. We could build those into that flow. This was really unheard of for this group. So getting this group to rally around this type of thinking and to use the Kanban principles to manage their work was absolutely a big feat. This took us probably about a month or so to get it to where it actually had some real flow and the team was trusting that this would do the job. And they weren't on their screens in their individual workstations. We had this board that sort of rallied all of our work.